In this video, I'm going to be going over the Ietf, or the Internet Engineering Task Force. So, I haven't uploaded in about a month, and I just want to take this moment to publicly say, I hope that the 4 or 5 people who watch this video appreciate just how difficult some of these topics are to research, because this took a long time, and this was really tough. So I hope you enjoy it. The Internet Engineering Task Force, or Ietf, is an open standards organization which develops and promotes voluntary internet standards. What is the purpose of the Ietf? The purpose of the Ietf is to create and develop voluntary internet standards. What are voluntary internet standards? Voluntary internet standards are standards that are voluntary. There are no civil or criminal penalties for not following these standards. How did the Ietf start? The Ietf started as the network working group in 1968. The network working group was an ad hoc group formed with the description concerned with host software, the strategies for using the network, and the initial experiments with the network. And the network working group was, for all practical intents and purposes, dissolved within the decade of its original founding. Right? So why did the Ietf start? The Ietf started because in the early stages of the internet, there needed to be agreement on how the internet was going to work so there could be interoperability. And that's really why the Ietf started. It started so there wasn't going to be 2 internets or 3 internets or 5 internets or 5,000 internets. There was going to be one internet that could communicate, right? That could communicate with each other on a public network that we call now the internet. So the entire point of why the Ietf started was for interoperability between the networks. Why now does the Ietf continue to exist? So as the internet exploded, and suddenly as of now there are 2 billion people who started using the internet, the businesses and corporations that have started using the internet as well has exploded. And the internet isn't just used by, the big 5 like Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and Google and Microsoft. It's used by banks, infrastructure companies, internet service providers like AT&T and Time Warner, service providers like Cloudflare and Mozilla Firefox. So now you not have 5 or 10, but 5 or 10 thousands of massive worldwide corporations all using, depending on the internet. And so as such, they are very interested in the Ietf and making sure that their services will continue to be able to be used via the internet. And that is why people and corporations listen to and value the Ietf. They listen to and value the Ietf is because the Ietf, laid the foundational infrastructure for the internet. And as the internet progressed, people kind of referred to the Ietf and were like, as the internet grew and as features grew on the internet, people were relying on the people who originally started the infrastructure of the internet to maintain the infrastructure of the internet. The Ietf originally came into existence to create the infrastructure of the internet. But now, these days, the Ietf exists now to maintain the infrastructure of the internet. And that means to create and maintain interoperability for the internet and add in new features for the internet without screwing up the old features of the internet or breaking the internet entirely. Why, excuse me, why would a private capitalist for-profit company publish and make public their hard labor and work for the benefit of the public? Well, that's actually a really good question. And the answer to that is called the network effect. Excuse me. I didn't actually understand this until I started researching the Ietf. So the Ietf maintains the internet, right? The internet is a network that we use for communication devices, right? My laptop is a communication device. The smartphone you might be watching this on is a communication device. And so what the communication device means is this. A communication device is only as valuable as the network, the network and the means that is used to communicate with it. So if I had a computer and I had a smartphone or whatever, and I had these communication devices, but there was no internet, and there was no way to communicate to people over the internet because there is no internet, then it's worthless, right? So a communication device is only as valuable as the network that exists to support it. And because our computers and our phones and whatever are communication devices, we're fundamentally communicating over the network. What does that mean? Well, it means that these private for-profit companies that offer services over the network and offer communication devices like the iPhone that use the internet and use this network, that means that in the long run, these private for-profit corporations have a substantial interest in making sure that the internet not only works well, but that it continues to work better. Because as far as a communication device, if your entire business is dedicated and dependent entirely on the internet, then the better the internet runs, the more people use it, and the better your business will be. That's called the network effect, right? So if you run a banking service, you run Amazon or you run whatever, your services are only as good as the internet itself. And so that's why you have major private for-profit companies devoting resources to the Ietf and publicly releasing their work into the Ietf and into the internet at large, is because when they do that, when they give labor, when they make the internet better, they in the long run make their private company better. That is called the network effect. So, so you have these private for-profit companies releasing their hard work into the internet to create, maintain, and improve interoperability over the internet. They work hard and release their work to improve the internet. Why? The network effect. The network effect means that if they make a better internet, meaning they contributing to the communication network that is the internet, the communication network being the internet, then that improved network, that improved internet, and that improved network will come around helping them in the long run. These private for-profit capitalist companies do not contribute anything to the Ietf for free. They get paid back in the long run by a better running internet, and better running internet means better running internet for their communication devices and services over that better running internet. So that is what the network effect and the Ietf is.